Exactly 1 year ago, as I was heading to the gym with my friend, he said something that changed my life forever.
Damn, Pinche, you don't get away. Your paint job looks like bro. When you gonna paint this hoe?
All right, bro.
Now, I'm super chill, like that comment really didn't get to me. It's not like I spent 6 months saving for this truck. Like, he doesn't understand the hard work and time it took to save up for this goddamn truck.
Come on, bro, what the you doing? Let's go.
But when I got home, I realized something that day. Damn, it does look like. Now, my dad always taught me never to settle for anything in life, so I went down to Harbor Freight, bought all the tools I needed, and over the course of the year, I learned how to paint, and I also learned the top 5 reasons why your backyard paint job looks like trash. Today, I'm gonna show you how to fix it. Let's get into it. But before we even enter into the paint booth, we need to talk about the first reason why your paint job looks like trash, and it's because you're not using the technical data sheets to create your plan before you step into that paint booth. A technical data sheet is a document that each paint product comes with, no matter what it is. Primer, base coat, sealer, even Bondo has a technical data sheet. And this document contains crucial information on how to use each and every product. Let me show you the plan that I'm using for this paint job specifically. In my situation, I'm using sealer, base coat, and clear coat in my entire paint job. So after reading my technical data sheet, it tells me that I need to use 400 grit sandpaper before I shoot my sealer, and I have to wait 5 minutes before shooting my base coat. After the base coat dries, 30 minutes before shooting our clear coat. And that's how you create a plan. Now, let's jump into the booth. And for this video, we're gonna be painting the hood of the Turbo OBS, the final piece of the puzzle, so make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see how the truck looks completely painted. Now, for this video specifically, we're gonna focus on the actual spraying of the paint. So, I've already gone in, done the body work, sprayed the epoxy, and sanded it down to 400 grit sandpaper for the paint to lay onto, just like the technical data sheet said to do. And that brings us to the second reason your paint job looks like trash, and that's because you're not using a sealer when painting. Now, when painting a vehicle, you actually don't need sealer. You can go directly from primer to base coat to clear coat. Now, why would I recommend a step that's not needed? To answer that, we're gonna have to go to class. So let's say we've got your hood right here, and on top of this hood, we have that primer that we shot the day before. And these squiggly lines represent the 400 grit sand scratches that we left on the hood for our sealer to lay onto. Now, our sealer is gonna go over these sand scratches, and they're gonna fill in these sand scratches, leaving a nice flat surface for your base coat to stick to. That's how you get a quality paint job using sealer. Now, the reason our technical data sheet says to wait 5 minutes in between these two coats is because we've got mechanical and chemical bonds going on within this entire process. So a mechanical bond happens between your sealer and the primer that we shot the day before. And what happens is that sealer goes into those sand scratches, and it shrinks into those sand scratches, and it creates that good mechanical bond for your sealer to stick to. The chemical bond happens between the base coat and the sealer. Paint takes about 8 hours to fully dry, so by only waiting 5 minutes in between coats, we're essentially allowing these two layers of paint to chemically bond together to create one coat of paint. And that's how you get a good foundation for your paint to stick to, and that's how your paint lasts for years down the line. All right, class is over. Let's get into the real reason why you clicked on this video. Painting. We're going to be using the Harbor Freight Black Widow paint gun because we do everything on a budget in this channel. As you can see, I'm focusing on the areas that you really can't see once the truck is put together. That way we can focus on the actual hood of the truck. We're doing a 50% overlap over the entire hood, and I'm spraying at about 25 PSI with medium coats. And we're off to the second coat. I actually ran out of paint during this second coat. It's okay, man. We're not a professional. This is just a backyard paint job, so it's all good. We'll just refill it and finish this off. The TDS calls for 2 medium coats of paint, but we got a bug in the paint, and this early on in the process, you have to take care of it. So we're gonna take some 400 grit sandpaper, sand this down, and do a 3rd coat, all because of that one bug. And this early in the game, this will show up in your clear coat, and when you go to fix it in your clear coat stage, it's gonna be black. So any imperfections, any bugs that land on the paint in this stage, you have to fix. So sand it with 400 grit sandpaper and just do one more coat. Look how smooth this paint looks. This is why we use sealer. Look how soft it looks. You can automatically tell that this paint job's gonna look clean if it looks like this. So now that we're done with sealer, we're gonna go ahead, clean the gun up. You have to clean it between the sealer and base coat stages. So just take some paint thinner, run it through. You don't have to go too hard here, but just make sure that it's nice and clean. And now it's time to move on to base coat. And that brings us to the 3rd reason, which is you're shooting your first coat of base coat way too thick. Now, the reason you want to keep this first layer very thin is because it builds a foundation for the rest of the paint job. And when you spray it thin, it has time to dry and properly adhere to the sealer that we just shot. When you shoot it too thick, it doesn't have time to adhere. Then you throw another layer of paint on top of that, and it just further makes the problem even worse. So this first layer, we're gonna keep it light. We're gonna do our 50% overlap, and we're gonna let that dry for 5 minutes, and we're gonna repeat that process until we have proper coverage. Let's get into it, guys. This is the coverage you're looking for. Don't worry about it. It looks like crap. We got tiger stripes on it. We don't have good coverage, but we're building the foundation for our paint to stick to. When you're first starting out, you feel like you got to get good coverage on every pass. That's completely wrong. We need to do light passes on the first coat. And after 5 minutes, it's barbecue chicken from here, guys. You can go as heavy as you want, as long as you get good coverage. This is what you're looking for, obviously a nice even color shoot. And to check, you want to turn off the lights, get you a sunlight. This one's from Harbor Freight, about $30. Damn, look at all that freaking metallic. This paint job's gonna look so clean, bro. Make sure I'll stick around to the end. But get you a sunlight. This one's 30 bucks from Harbor Freight, just to make sure that you have good coverage and you don't have tiger stripes in the paint. The 4th reason is you're not shooting your clear coat correctly. And I'm gonna show you how to shoot clear coat using black paint, because clear coat's just really hard to see on camera. So I'm gonna show you the technique using black paint. And it's very similar to base coat, where you shoot the first coat kind of light, but the next 2 and 3 coats are different because you have to shoot them and keep a wet edge while you're making a pass. And I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. So just like the first coat of base coat, you can see we don't have proper coverage, but this is exactly what you want with clear coat. Like I said, we're building foundations here, so keep it light, just like this. And that's what I mean by keeping a wet edge. There's no bare spots on this pass. And the reason that's so important with clear coat versus base coat is because clear coat is very thick. It's a thick paint, so it has a tougher time leveling out and becoming flat. So for example, when you have areas like this that are missing paint in between, that will show up as orange peel or a dry spot or waves within the paint. So you need to make sure that you keep a wet edge during that pass, just like this. And that's probably one of the most important tips about clear coat, keeping that wet edge, guys. So let's get into it and finish this truck off. Just like the base coat, we got some bare spots here, but that's exactly what you want. We're gonna give this 5 minutes. It's gonna properly adhere to the base coat, and then we're gonna start our second coat using that wet edge technique that I showed you before. It's the next day and we're finally here, and we're finally to the last reason why your paint job looks like trash. And by the way, guys, if you found any value in this video, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel out a ton and I'd really appreciate it. But the final reason is because you're not doing a drop coat. A drop coat is when you paint the entire truck, wait 1 day to let it dry, you sand the clear coat completely flat, and you respray 2 coats of clear coat. Now, when you go to a regular body shop and just get a respray, they're not going to do this. This is more for higher quality paint shops who are doing show quality paint work. But I recommend y'all do it for a couple reasons. Number one is we're using a Harbor Freight paint gun. It's not the most expensive high quality paint gun out there, so you're not going to get the best results with this gun. So because of that, when you're doing a full paint job from the metal all the way up to the clear coat like we did, you're putting on like 20 layers of paint on this thing when you really think about it. So from the first layer of paint all the way up into the clear coat, you're layering orange peel on top of orange peel on top of orange peel on top of orange peel until you get to the very end where you have a bunch of orange peel showing through the entire paint. So there's like 20 layers of paint in there with orange peel. So what the drop coat is going to do is you're going to sand that clear coat completely flat, and you're only going to put 2 layers of clear on top, and that's how you get a show quality paint job. And even after you spray these next 2 layers of clear coat, you can go on there and cut and buff the entire truck, and that will give you an even better finish. So I'm done talking, guys. I'm ready to get this hood back on the truck. I'm ready to see it complete. So let's get to painting, guys, or let's get to sanding. Look at this goddamn moth that fell into my paint job at the very end. Goddamn. But anyways, you can see we got some orange peel going on. We got a couple bugs, some dirt dibs going on, but that's okay. We're gonna sand this down with 400 grit sandpaper. So make sure you get a bucket of water, make sure you got a block, and I like to put in some dish soap. It just helps out with the sanding process. And we're gonna get to sanding. You wanna be extremely careful, because if you cut through this clear coat and get into the paint, you have to shoot your base coat all over again. You basically got to start over. So take your time, don't cut through the paint, and you'll be just fine. Let's get it. This is a pretty cool visual. Once you're done sanding and you throw some water on there, you can kind of see how the paint's gonna look after you shoot the clear coat. This is what you're looking for. No shiny spots on the hood. Everything is sanded down to a nice matte finish. If you see any shiny spots on the hood, your paint's not gonna stick and it's gonna peel in the future. Oh, one more thing, guys. Make sure y'all check out the store that's linked in the description below so you can pick up some Next Coast stickers. I really appreciate it, and it supports my channel, guys. Thank you.
No matter who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You want to race tonight?
Yeah, you know I could use the money.
You got 4 minutes, man.
All right, I'll be there.